Hello, everybody. A very good afternoon to all of you. Right, so we have actually just started. So from live chat, Cikgu Puni actually said she can't hear me. Can anybody else actually hear me right now? Checking. Checking. Good afternoon. All right. Okay, thanks a lot for clarifying this. Sorry. Okay, so welcome everybody. So good afternoon to all of you. Welcome everybody to Perkongsian Amalan Terbaik Bahasa Inggeris SPM 2019. So we are sharing this in digital form. Our target group is actually to all the English teachers in Daerah Sarikei, but my boss, Tuan PPD, actually decided that it's better to share this to everybody. So we are opening this up to everybody. So welcome for being here. Thank you very much for being here. We the Sarikei teachers actually we came together, we sat down and we discussed the answers. So actually per year we will share the answers to other teachers in Daerah Sarikei. The reason being that this year with all this MCO happening, if you notice, we can't purchase the past year question book yet. And therefore, because of that, we realized that we can't hold this back. We have to do this ASAP, with the reason that maybe some of the teachers here would like to use past year SPM paper as extra task, extra exercise for the kids. And therefore, we are here to share the answers that we have come up with. And therefore, you can actually use this material in your online classroom. So that's the idea. So before I move on to the rest of the slides, it's very rude of me. Let me introduce myself. So my name is actually Bridget Lee. So you can call me Madam Bridget Lee. Madam Lee, I work as SIC in PPD Sarikei. So we have gathered an awesome 5 teachers who have the experience, good experience with paper 2, and therefore they will be sharing their expertise with us on the marking scheme. All right. I'm moving on to the next slide, but I'm unsure whether the YouTube actually share the changes of slide. I'm showing the second slide, but I don't think the YouTube is showing it, right? I'm actually quite worried about the lagging actually. All right, so it's already the okay, so it's showing the second slide already. So to those who have yet to download the paper 2 of BISPM, would you mind going to that link and download the paper? So I scanned the whole paper already for your convenience sake. All right, so I share already for your convenience sake. So so please do download those link because throughout the presentation, the sharing part, we will be referring to that paper a lot. Right. So if you have done that, excellent. Some rules and regulation before we start. All right, so we have different presenters for different sections. So as I've mentioned earlier on, we have 5 teachers, 5 presenters. So they're going to present different sections, as you can see later on. the sharing that we're going to do today, they are actually not suitable for students. I'm not saying they can't join, but this afternoon, the presentation will be mostly about marking skill. And therefore, students won't be benefiting a lot from this session because it's not about how to improve your reading skill, writing, listening, or speaking. It's solely focusing on marking skill. And because of that, I do encourage strictly for teachers actually, I do encourage that this is only open for teachers, as students won't be benefiting this a lot. Questions can be raised at the comment section. So you can actually ask questions through YouTube Live. However, if we do apologize first if we actually miss out your question, since they can be quite overwhelming sometimes. Number 4, please be respectful to each other. So this is not the first timer for PPD Sarikei to be doing the online classroom. So we do face problems where keyboard warriors and people hiding behind the screen to be quite rude talking to one another. So I do hope that all of us here will be respectful to each other, as well as being professional to each other. So the full set of answers that we will be sharing today will be made available for download later on. So don't worry about that. We will make everybody be able to download all those full set of answers later on at the end of this session. So you can just sit back, chill, and just listen and take notes for those parts that you felt that it was interesting. And the last one is, please fill in the attendance details at the end. So I will give you guys the link to the SPLG, key in your IC, and you guys are good to go. All right, so that's all the rules and regulations for today. Without wasting time, right? So we shall move on to the first presenter of today, who's going to be presenting section A and section B. So we would like to invite Miss Lenny Mia. All right, pass to you, Miss Lenny.
Okay. Wait, I change my screen first. Okay, thank you, Madam Lee. Is my voice clear?
Yep, very clear.
All right. Okay, thank you. So good afternoon to all Sarikei English teachers. And I believe there are participants for today also outside Sarikei. So good afternoon to all of you. So my name is Lenime Anak Niwin, and I'm teaching at SMK Sungai Pau Sarikei. So this afternoon, I will share my knowledge on section A and B of paper 2 last year, English SPM 11192. Okay, so I know perhaps most of you know better than me. So today, let's use this afternoon to learn from each other. All right. So let us start with section A. So section A, I think everyone knows that it is question 1 to 8 is based on short notes, graphics, advertisement, and the questions are multiple choice. And question 9 to 15 is rational clause. And you need to identify the tenses and look for the suitable and correct grammar. And read all throughout. So this is what we know about section A. And this is what we always tell our students. We need to remind the students to read the question first, not the stimulus. When you read the question first, you know what information to look for in the given stimulus. Okay, next. Read all the options given. Do not jump at the first possibly correct answer you see. Choose the option that best meets the needs of the question. All right, so next, if the students are unsure of the correct answer, ask them to use the elimination method. So elimination method means they need to cross out the most answers that they think is not the correct ones. And then make intelligent guesses only as a last resort and never leave a question unanswered. So let them guess. if they do not know the answer. All right, so let us try. I think you have the question paper with you. So let us try to answer the question in section A. Okay, so this is question number 1. So this is a newspaper article about sports. So the question asking which of the following is true. So means the students have to read one by one. Okay. There has been much talk of the semi-final match between Pahang and Selangor football teams. The media has held the defender. All right. Selangor team, on the other hand, is depending on its striker, Izani Husin, to carry the team through the final. So what do you think is the question, the answer? Yes. The answer is B. The secret of Pahang's success is its defender. All right. So you can see here, the media has held the defender Zaini Ismail as not the only best in the country, but also the key to Pahang's triumphs. So S4A is not the correct one because they have not been to the final yet. And also the C and D. So the answer is B. So let's go to number 2. All right. So for number 2, it is an advertisement. You can see there is a picture of mosquito there. So the question, based on the advertisement above, X bomb patch. A needs to be regularly applied. B is effective in destroying mosquitoes. C helps children recover from insect bites. And D is particularly useful for outdoor activities. So what do you think is the answer? For this one, you need to find the most suitable answer, the most correct one to match the advertisement. So yes, the answer is D, is particularly useful for outdoor activities. Okay. Question 3. So question 3 is also a newspaper report. It's about this international movie star Andy Jones were invited by the Chengdu Giant Panda Building Project to spend a day looking after the pandas. So the question asking, what was Andy Jones impressed by? All right, so if you read the article, in this paragraph 2, John said, I saw Mayan and the other keepers in the Moonlight Delivery House feeding the panda cubs with bottled milk. It was incredible. So the word incredible actually tells us the clue that this is when he felt impressed. So if you read further, it was incredible. Mayan knew just how to get their attention. As soon as she shouted, the cubs knew it was time for milk. So from that, we can know, we can see, we can guess what is the answer. So the answer is D. Yes, the answer is D, the way staff dealt with the pandas. All right, move on to number 4. So number 4 is also an advertisement. Okay, so number 4 is a hot question. This is a hot question. So it says here about Live Today, Malaysia's #1 magazine. They want your feedback. So the question, the notice says that Live Today, A, prefers one way of receiving opinion. Is it prefers one way of receiving opinion? No. Yes, it's not. Because there are 2 ways on how the viewers can send their opinion. Here, by mobile and also through email. Okay, B, it can be contacted at a lower cost than before. Is that the answer? It is not, yeah, because it says that even though it's a free service, but for normal mobile operators, the network charges apply. Okay, so B is not the answer. C is careful to keep the reader's details private. If you read in the paragraph 3 here, it says we do not share or publish this information. So C might be the answer, but then you have to read the answer number D also. Welcome readers' comment on any subject. Are there? It's not. Yes. So the answer is C. Okay, we go to number 5. So number 5 is a fact, a description about this bird. So what does the text say about maleo birds? A, local residents keep the chicks safe. B, their nesting habits put them at risk. C, their conservation is paid for by the WCAs. And D, there is a need to find new places for them to live. Yes, good. The answer is B. All right. 6. Okay, 6 also a hot question, yeah. So the successful, this is advertisement. So the successful applicant should be at least 17 years old, is it? Is it be at least 17 years old? It's not, yeah, because it says here that the advanced swimmers must be between 13 and 17 years old. So it was not the answer A. B, look for accommodation. It's not the answer because it says here including housing. All right, so C will be available to start work now. Yes, it can be the answer. All right. And D, have wide teaching experience. It's not mentioned in the advertisement. So the answer is C. Okay, now we go to number 7. Number 7 is an article script. Okay, what is the government's plan to overcome water shortages in the future? So the students need to read this, then they can find the answer. They need to read the option one by one also. A, to obtain help from other countries to process seawater. Is it? Is it mentioned in the text? B, to get water from rivers for household consumption. C, to start water rationing during the dry season. Or D, to reduce water usage in the industrial sector. What is the answer? Yes, the answer is B, to get water from rivers for household consumption. Okay, it is said here in the last sentence, as for domestic use, every state will be required to source water from rivers. So 7 is B. Now we go to number 8. So number 8 is an advertisement also. From the advertisement, we know that A, Forever Cinema is giving away 200 tickets. Is it? Here is your chance to watch A Simple Life for free a day before it opens in local cinemas. 200 tickets are offered to readers for a special screening of the film at the 300-seater Forever Cinema. So do you think that A is the correct answer? It can be, but why don't we go to B first also? Coupons can be redeemed on any time before the show. Is it? Does it mention there? It's not, right? So B is not. C, cinema admission is not possible without an original coupon. No, yes. And D, A Simple Life will be shown in local cinemas beginning March 14. A Simple Life will be shown in local cinema beginning March 14, is it? Is that the answer? It's also not. The answer is A. A is the most perfect answer for this. Forever Cinema is giving away 200 tickets. All right. Okay, so as you can see in this section A for last year, most of the questions are based on newspaper articles and advertisement, which is involved with lots of words. So there are no comic strips asking for adjectives or feelings. So we need to give more practices to our students from this type of questions. Okay, so now we go to rational clause, question 9 to 15. So rational clause always look for the tense, and the frequently asked questions are usually the articles, a, an, and the, determiners, the this and that, preposition, in, on, of, for, and it, and pronouns, his, her, its, their, our. And usually also rational clause asking for tenses. That is the simple present, past perfect tenses, and also the conjunction, the fanboys. Okay, we always tell our students to remember these fanboys. That is for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, and also the appropriate vocabulary. But lately, the question of rational clause, they are not focusing much on these articles and pronouns. They're usually on the tenses and also on appropriate vocabulary. Okay, so let us go to the question. Question 9 to 15 are based on the following passage. Choose the best answer to fill in each blank. All right, playing games is nothing new. In many ways, games are important as they prepare us for the. All right, so the question number 9. So this states the vocabulary. Is it the answer A, ways, B, times, C, standards, or D, challenges? What's the answer? Yes, good. The answer is challenges, D. In the past, playing games mainly. All right, so this states the tenses. Is it either A, mean, B, means, C, meant, or D, meaning? I think for sure the answer for number 10 is not D, right? So D out. So the answer for number 10 is C. It's C. All right. Mainly meant doing physical activities, whether in school or with friends in the street. Okay, now we go to number 11. One important lesson that children learned from playing these games was to accept defeat. Blank, grace, and dignity. So is it the answer A, by, B, for, C, over, or D, with? So this is on preposition also. What do you think? Defeat by, defeat for, defeat over, or defeat with? The answer is D, defeat with. Okay, now we go to number 12. Perhaps the most obvious difference between the way that we play today, blank, how we played in the past, is the fact that, okay, so for number 12, it tells you two subjects here. Between the way that we play today and how we played in the past. Well, there are two. So what do you think to link these two subjects? Is it A, and, B, nor, C, or D, S? Yes, the answer is A, and. Okay, so number 13 is the fact that games nowadays, blank, often played on computers or phone devices. So this is an easy question. Huh? I will always tell my students that this is the answer that you must, the question that you must correct, because the clue is obviously there. The subject is games, and then it tells you nowadays. So the answer must be not C and D, right? So what's the answer for number 13? Yes, is B, R. Okay, we go to number 14. Gaming can be interesting in various ways. For instance, many video games are to bring players from all over the world together in the spirit of friendly competition. Okay, so number 14 is to taste the vocabulary of students. What do you think? A, planned, B, arranged, C, designed, or D, invented. So the perfect vocabularies for games, when we are doing games, it's not planned, it's not arranged, it's not invented, but it's more to C, design, good. However, now we go to number 15, yeah? However, gaming has a negative side. For example, there are special platforms and websites for those who like to cheat. Okay, so the answer for number 15 is on prepositions. What do you think is the answer? Is it A, at, B, to, C, on, or D, off? The answer is yes, A, at games. The world of online gaming certainly gives you a fascinating insight into human behavior. Okay, so that is the end of our section A. Okay, now we go to section B. So section B is the information transfer. All right, so for information transfer, the answer must be short and precise. We need to ask our students to read the question carefully. The question may limit the answer to 2 or 4 words to be written in the blanks. All right, so starting like last 2 years, the questions giving limit to the answer for students to write the answer. They are not allowed the candidates to write a very long answer in the blank. So they limit to 2 or 4 words to be written in the blanks. And then irrelevant answers, which is lifted blindly, is not accepted. Okay? All right, next, remember, we need to remind our students about this. Spelling must be correct. However, correct answer with 1 letter error is accepted. Correct answer, but with 2 letter error or more will not be accepted. But yet, this spelling, we must not be so sure. Yeah? We have to ask our students to copy exactly the words in the text, from the text, carefully. Don't let them know that even though there are spelling error with 1 letter error, it is accepted. No, we don't take granted for that. Please don't take granted for that. So we ask the students to copy it carefully, the answer from the text. Okay, and the words or answer must come from the text and must not distort the intended meaning. All right? Okay, so for last year, this is the question. It is on the magazine article, and there is a survey, also comments given by people here. As you can see, this is the statistic about breakfast is the important meal. And then what the experts say about breakfast. We have Dr. Huda, the medical specialist, Miss Rivati, the nutritionist, and also what the members of the public say. We have Shubhash, retired, and Aisha, the housewife, Jenny, school student, and Reza, the college student. Okay, let us go to the question. Well, I'll give you 60 seconds, 1 minute to look through to the text. Okay, all right, so we go to number 16. Which person says? So this asking the name. As you can see in the table here, it's asked the name. All right. So the first question, the question number 16. Missing breakfast can lead to eating more than normal in the day. Who says this? Who says this? Who do you think? Okay. So the answer is Dr. Huda. Yes, the answer is Dr. Huda. If the answer is Dr. Huda like this, can we give marks? Yes, it is. This is the correct answer. It is really answering the question, given the name. All right. So next, what if the answer is this? Dr. Huda in bracket medical specialist. Can we give mark? Yes. You can give mark for this one. All right. So what if the answer is like the Dr. Huda, also medical specialist in the bracket, but there is, if you can see, a spelling error for the medical. No air there. Can we give mark? Can we give mark for this? I will mark this one correct because as what I have mentioned earlier, one letter error can be accepted. But yet, this is for the job. The one letter error is only for the name, but yet the medical specialist here still carry meaning, even though there is a missing one letter between C and L here. Okay, next. Dr. Huday. What do you think? Can we give mark for this answer? It's not. I will not give mark for this one. Why? Because there are 3 letters error. For the letter D, which is supposed to be in capital letter, and then the letter H, right? Yes. And there is an extra letters here, extra letter E here. So we cannot give mark for that. How about this one? Doctor, we have dot, have full stop here, there, and Huda, the H is in small letter. Yes, we cannot give mark for this because there are also 2 letter errors. 2 letters error. That is the full stop and also the letter H. All right, so that is the examples of the allow answers or the not allow answer. So for number 17, breakfast is important to provide energy for sport. The answer is Subash. Is it correct? Yes, it is. And also we can write like this, Subash, and we tie it in bracket. We can give marks for this, yeah? How about number 18? Missing breakfast can cause bad mood. Who's saying this? Very good. Yes, it's Reza. Correct answer. And also Reza in bracket. In bracket, college student. I'm sorry. Next, breakfast is important for concentration. Who's saying this? Yes, very good. It's Jenny. Correct spelling. No mistake. We give marks. Also Jenny, school student. In bracket, also we give mark because the name is there. Unless the answer is school student without the name, of course, there will no mark given. And the last one, for number 20. Aisha, missing breakfast can cause dizziness. Is it Aisha? Yes, it is. And also Aisha in the bracket, housewife. All right, so can you see the pattern here? So like I said, the student must copy the word exactly from the text. Even though there is there is an excuse if they have mistake in spelling with one letter error, will be given marks, but please don't be very sure on that. All right, so I move on to the next question, also in information transfer. Now we go to questions 21 to 25. Using words from the magazine article, complete the email below. As you can see here, it says use no more than 2 words for each blank. Means the limit number of words that students must write in the blank is 2. Only 2 words in the blank. But how about if 1? Yes, of course, either 1 or 2, but not more than 2. Okay. Sorry. We go to the question first. I've just read an article about breakfast. Did you know that number 21 blank and number 22 blank are the top 2 explanation teenagers give for not having their morning meal? All right. What's the answer for number 21? You need to read the magazine article again. Then you know what's the answer, right? So, okay, the answer for 21 is, yes, it is dieting and oversleeping. Okay? But since they are in the same sentence and they come together, the answers are interchangeable. Means 22 oversleeping can be in number 21, 21 dieting can be in number 22. Okay? All right. Now we go to number 23. Before that, sorry, I would like to give you a few options of answer. Okay, what if the answer is oversleeping? Oversleeping. The students, they mistakenly write their answer. There is obviously there are double P's there instead of E. Can we give mark? Okay, we can, because there is only one letter error. All right, one letter error. Okay. How about 22? Oversleeping. Oversleeping. Yes, cannot accept this because there are two letters error. All right, without the E, without the G. All right, now we go to number 23. Also, one of the professionals suggested that going without breakfast isn't a good way to. Okay, there's a clue there. To, infinitive to. So after infinitive to, should be in best form. Okay, 23. Lose weight. Is that the answer? 2 words? Yes, we give mark. How about lose kilos? The students change the word weight to kilos. Can we give mark? Yes, we can. And then, how about lost weight? Lost weight. Even though I said just now, the infinitive to here should be in the best form after that. But what if the answer is lost weight? Can we give mark? We can, because we look at this as slip in the spelling. So we consider this as one letter error. Good news? Okay. Okay, now we go to number 24. I know now that I shouldn't have my breakfast any later than. Okay, so the answer is, the answer is 9. Correct answer. Also 9 a.m. This is also a correct answer. Yes, 9 a.m. also accepted. We can give mark on that. And 9:00 a.m. without the full stop. Also, we can give mark. All right. I go to the last one. I also have to make sure that I eat, drink, and blank number 25 enough. The answer is sleep. Correct? It is. Okay. So number 25, if the students give sufficient sleep. Can we give answer for that? Sufficient sleep? Can we give mark for that? Sorry. Sufficient sleep. Cannot. Why? Because the word enough here. The last word of the sentence. Because enough is sufficient is similar with enough. I mean enough is similar with sufficient. Okay? So they have to carry the same meaning. So it's like a double meaning there. It's like repetition. Okay? So number 25 again, sleeping. How about sleeping? Can we give marks for sleeping? Yes, cannot. Because the first two is in the best form. Eat, drink, and. So we cannot put it in the continuous here. Sleeping ing. So it's wrong. Alright. So I hope my sharing here is very useful to all of you. So that is the end of my presentation for section A and section B. So now I pass the next slide. I pass the next slides to the next presenter, Madam Winnie. Go back to you. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Madam Winnie from SMK Sarikei Baru. Now we are moving to section C, Comprehension. Before we go to the questions, please take 2 minutes to read the comprehension text. Well, I assume everyone has finished reading the text. Let's look at the question now. Question 26. From paragraph 1, why was it a good day to go paragliding? The suggested answer here. All right, we allow students to leave line 3 to 4 for this question. Although there were a few cloud patches in the sky, the wind was favorable. The word although must be included in their answers. The wind was favorable. Yes, 1 mark. It was a good day to go paragliding because of the wind. The forecast or the weather was good. We don't allow if the students write answer like this, forecast. Because there were a few cloud patches in the sky, the wind was favorable. Okay, or if the students write like this, it was a good day to go paragliding because there were a few cloud patches in the sky, the wind was favorable. Answers like this are not allowed. Okay, question 27A from paragraph 2. Number 1, What was the final piece of equipment that Melissa had to check before taking off? The suggested answer here. The brake lines. Okay, so we also allow answers like this, brake lines. We don't allow if the students copy the lines from the text like this, adjustment to the brake lines. Number 2, what was Melissa excited to see? Suggested answer. We allow answers like this, tiny figures moving slowly far below, the sight of tiny figures moving slowly far below, little people, small people, tiny figure. As long as the idea of tiny figures is in the sentence, is in the answer, we don't allow answer like this. The sight of tiny figures moving slowly far below never failed to thrill her. This is considered as overlifting. Figure or figures. Okay, B. From paragraph 3, how did Melissa know that it was possible to land on a spot near the rice field? Suggested answer. She had touched down there successfully on a few previous occasions. Okay, students are allowed to lift line 19 to 20. Or, if they are good enough, they can answer like this. She had done this before. Marks will be given. As long as the idea of she landed there before is there. She had been in similar situation before. When students lift line 21 to 22, no marks will be given because this situation is different from the one mentioned by the question. If you read the text carefully, you will find out the difference there. Okay, question 28 from paragraph 4. What quality was Melissa well known for? The suggested answer. Determination or perseverance. We don't allow if the students leave the whole sentence from line 25. The chances are they would say determination or they would say determination. No marks will be given. Okay, B. Melissa's instructor used a particular image. What was this image? The suggested answer here. It was like being tossed around inside a washing machine. Being inside a washing machine. The idea of being inside a washing machine must be there. We don't allow if the students write washing machine. No marks will be given. Okay, 29. From paragraph 5, what 2 things impressed Melissa's instructor on an earlier occasion? What are the 2 things that impressed Melissa's instructor? Okay, we allow the answers like this. Melissa's natural ability, the calmness she showed, her calmness, natural ability, or the natural ability, calmness, the calmness, noticeable calmness. Melissa's natural ability struck him as being unusual. Okay, we don't allow if the students write like this. Melissa's natural ability struck him as being unusual. However, okay, this is considered as overlifting. And even more noticeable was the calmness she showed. Noticeable was the calmness. No marks will be given if the students write like this. Okay, you need to take note here. Subject of for example, like she natural ability will still give 1 mark. He or his natural ability, wrong subject, wrong pronoun, so no marks will be given. Okay, so the last question, question 30. How do you think Melissa felt about the way she was rescued? Give 1 reason. Suggested answer. Feeling, must be feeling. For example, like grateful. Why? Because the villagers saved her life. Sad, because the paraglider was damaged. The answers must be reasonable. As long as the answers are reasonable, marks will be awarded for this part. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions at the comment part there. That's all from me for my part. Now I'm going to pass the slides to the next presenter, Miss Ling.
Thank you, Madam Winnie. Good afternoon to all. I'm Miss Lim from SMK Tsinghua Sibu. Now I would like to share on summary. Are you all ready? So this is the question. Melissa faced problems when she was paragliding on March 2nd. Based on the passage, write a summary on the problems she faced and what she did to try to overcome these problems. Use material from line 19 to line 43. And this is the 10 words given. Melissa decided to land after flying for 15 minutes, but so does everyone have the text with you? We'll look at paragraph 3 from line 17 to 23. Can you all detect the points here? Content point 1. Suddenly she began falling at an alarming speed. Content point 2. Her paraglider was not catching the wind in the way it needed to. Content point 3. She quickly pulled her lines. And content point 4. The wind did not respond. Please take note that point 4 here is dependent on point 3. So if we don't have point 3, point 4 will not be awarded at all. Let's move on to the next paragraph. We have content point 5, 6, 7, and 8. So content point 5 is she struggled to control the wing. She was being thrown in all directions is content point 6. Another content point 6 is it was like being tossed around inside a washing machine. So either one of these is accepted. However, please take note that like being tossed around inside a washing machine, it should not be the idea of inside a washing machine, but it should be the idea of like being tossed around in a washing machine. Then we have content point 7. She made a series of rapid turns. And here we have to take note that the turns must be in plural and it must be quick, it must be rapid. Only then it will be accepted. And content point 8, which had no effect. Now, please take note that content point 8 is dependent on content point 7. So the same case here, they must be together. Let's move on to the next paragraph. Paragraph 5, lines 31 to 40. We have two content points for number 9, content points 10, 11, and 12. So the first content point for number 9, the ground was moving fast towards her, or the rice field getting ever closer. Content point 10, flapping the wing was one way of slowing down to land, but it was too late now for that. So here the idea is of being unable to flap the wing and not the action of flapping the wing. So bear in mind about that. Content point 11, clumps of sharp bamboo. The bamboo here should be plural to be accepted actually. And content point 12, there was a 2-story farm building that she wanted to avoid. Let's move on to the last paragraph. Here we have the last 2 points. Content point 13. She noticed a stream just wide enough for her to land in. She decided that this was her best chance. So here we are referring to the idea of deciding to land in a stream. The idea of deciding to land in a stream. But she has not landed in. And the last content point, her wing got caught on the roof of the farm building. I hope everyone has gotten the points. So altogether, we have 14 content points. 14 content points. I'll show it one more time so that you can check with your answers or your notes. Okay, so now let's look at the language descriptors. So in language descriptors, it's divided into 2 parts, which is first one, paraphrase, and second one, use of English. So paraphrase here, we have from band 1 until band 5. I'm not going to go through every band. I'm sure every teacher is familiar with it. But what I want to emphasize here is paraphrasing here means using your own words. Using your own words, which means they are totally different from the text unless it is text reliant, without changing the original meaning. I repeat, using of our own words without changing its original meaning. So to reach band 5 here, it means the expression is secure, paraphrasing is successful. And next, let's look at use of English. For use of English, UE, we actually divide it into 2 parts. The first one is accuracy. Second one is sentence structure. So accuracy is in terms of the grammar. And for sentence structure, we will look at the types of sentences that the candidates use. To reach Band 5, as you can see here, is marked ability to use original complex sentences. So what is important for Mark 5, Band 5 is it must be original complex throughout the summary. Original here means it's the candidate sentences. And as for Band 4 here, as we can see, it's some ability. So when there is some ability, it can be original compound, or it can be original complex sentences, or it can be a mixture of both. So I repeat, to get Band 5, it will be original complex throughout. And to get Band 4, it can be original compound or complex. But that's only for sentence structure. Bear in mind, that's only for sentence structure. So now let's look at this important note. If paraphrase is 2, Band 2, the UE for it will be maximum 3. It will not reach higher than that anymore once P is 2. And once P is 1, the maximum language for UE, the maximum marks for UE is 2. So P1, UE maximum is 2. Let's move on. Okay, these are the important notes that every teacher has to pay attention to. If you find a script that the candidate has no attempt to summarize at all, it will be a straight 0. Number 2, more or less complete transcript, which is within lines 19 to 43, which means they copy within the transcript, the prescribed text. P is 1, so maximum UE is 2. Point 3, copying in chunks. P is 2, maximum UE is 3. So this is exactly the same like these previous notes here. Okay. I hope everyone is ready to try now. So let's look at this first summary. Yes, it is just this short. So all of you who are here this afternoon, you can try it out. How many content points do we have here? Okay, we have 2 content points. The first one, she began falling at an alarming speed. Content point 2, her paraglider was not catching the wind in the way that it needed to. Do you have all the correct answers? I'm sure you do. So altogether we have C equals to 2. Once we are done with the content points, now let's look at the language descriptors. So we are going to look at the paraphrasing part. As you can notice here, Melissa decided to land on a spot next to a rice field. It was much smaller than most landing zones, but it was possible. This part here, it is outside the prescribed text. Outside the prescribed text. So what do you think it falls under which band? Right. Here, it falls under P1, paraphrase 1, because it's copied line after line. You can refer to the original text. It's actually line after line. So it's more or less a complete transcript. And this criteria falls under band 1. So P equals to 1. So once we are done with the paraphrasing part, we are going to look at the UE, use of English. So first of all, we are going to look at the accuracy part. So as you can see, we have a spelling error here. We have missing punctuation, full stop. And this part here should be separated, should be 2 words. Missing full stop here again. Missing full stop here, and this W should be capital letter, and here it should be question mark, and the last part here should be full stop again. So in terms of accuracy, it's quite accurate, right? Or we can say it's largely accurate. So UE can be 2. But because of no punctuation, however, there are capital letters, we drop the UE to 1. Do you still remember the important notes earlier? When P equals to 2, maximum mark for UE is 3. So here we drop the UE to, I repeat, when P is 1 earlier, P is 1, maximum mark for UE is 2. So now we drop this UE2 to 1 because of the punctuation. And with that, P1, UE1, you can do the calculation for me. With that, the language is 1. So C2, L1, total mark for this summary is 3. Alright, let's move on to the second summary. How many content points do we have here? Are you ready? Here it goes. We have content points 2, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, and 14. So let's look at it one by one. Content point 2, her paraglider was not catching the wind. Content point 5, she struggled to control the wind. Content point 6, she was being thrown in all directions. Content point 7, she made a series of quick turns. Content point 11, she sees clumps of sharp bamboo. Content point 12, two-story farm building to avoid. And the last content point, her wing got caught on the roof. And I'm sure there are questions in your mind. Why are we not awarding content point 1 falling at an alarming speed? It's totally distorted here. Totally distorted, and that's why no point awarded. And how about content point 4 here? Do you know why we are not awarding it? Yes, bingo. It's because the absence of content point 3. Because of the absence of content point 3. And next one here. She flapping the wing to slowing down. It does look similar to content point 9. Am I right? But here, please take note that content point 9 doesn't refer to the action of flapping. It does not refer to the action of flapping because it was the idea of being unable to slow down, unable to flap the wing in time. Are we clear on this? So all in all, we have 7 content points. Are we ready for the language part? Let's look at paraphrasing. So here, as I have mentioned earlier, because it's distorted and falling at an alarming speed is actually mindless lifting. She touched down there successfully is also mindless lifting. And another mindless lifting, Melissa managed to get herself down unharmed and calmness that she showed. So I would like to invite you to look at the paraphrase part. Which band does it fall under? Which band can you see the bullet mindless lifting? Yes, it's under band 1. Am I right? However, if we go and look at the content points that we managed to find in this summary, which is 7, in a way it shows that this candidate is intelligent enough, is selective enough to get 7 content points out of 10. So I would like to invite you to look at the band for paraphrasing. Which band does it fall under? For the point intelligent and selective lifting. Yes, it's under the band 3. Under band 3. So, because of the mindless lifting, it's both intelligent and mindless. We'll give this a P2. A P2. Are we clear on this? All right, let's move on to UE. So first part for UE, we are going to look at the accuracy, of course. As you can see, we have the symbol of multiple word error, MWE here. And then we have missing word here, omission. It could have been had. She had touched down there successfully. We have another MWE here. Melissa managed to get herself down unharmed, and calmness that she showed. Alright, it's totally distorted there, mindless. Another error here, she flapping the wing. It could have been she flapped, past tense. After to, it should be root word to slow down. It should be past tense. She saw. Clumps of sharp spelling error for bamboo. And then omission of something. It could have been a conjunction and linking these two parts. All right. So in terms of accuracy, is it accurate enough for a band 5? Or is it largely accurate? With this MWE, it's definitely not accurate or largely accurate anymore. So this is considered frequent serious errors. When you look at the band 2 shows frequent serious errors. It wouldn't be in band 1 because it's not heavy frequency of serious errors. All right. So it's better than band 1. It's frequent serious errors. We'll give it a UE2. So P2, UE2. The total mark for language is 2. So C7, L2. Total mark for this summary is 9 out of 15. Are you ready for the last summary? Okay, this is the last one. You can actually see that it's longer than the previous two summaries. So does it mean that this summary has more content points? Okay, so let's see whether you have all the content points. Yes, this summary has the perfect 14 points. Let's look at content point 1. She began losing altitude fast. Content point 2. The wing was not cooperating with a paraglider. Content point 3. She yanked on her lines. Content point 4, the wing was not working. Content point 6, she was juggled by the wing. Content point 5, her attempt to seize control. Content point 7, a succession of quick turns. Content point 8, to no avail. And here we have two content point 9, so just award content point 9 to the first one that you see, the ground closing on her. Content point 10, there was no time for her to reduce speed by flapping her wing. Content point 11, knife-like bamboos. Content point 12, she wished to avoid the two-story farm building. Content point 14, so as for 14, I would like you to start reading from here. But her wing caught on the farm's roof. And as for content point 13, so I would like you to look at, content point 13. Notice a stream just wide enough for her to land in. She decided that this was her best chance. Remember the idea of deciding to land in the stream? So content point 13 starts from here. An adequately wide stream caught her eye. As she was about to land shows that she actually had the decision to land in the stream. So that's why content point 13 is complete after we have the words as she was about to land. I hope everyone is clear about this. So all together we have, yes, remember the maximum for content point is 10, never award 14, okay? So C10, a perfect summary. With that, let's look at the paraphrasing part for the language. So as you can see here, I've actually labeled them for you. The RPO stands for paraphrase. She began losing altitude fast. This is RP. This is a rephrase. Original words, you can see it from the text. Now remember, it's always important, it's always advisable for you to have the original text with you, for you to compare whether it's RP or not, unless you can memorize the text well. Okay, so compared to the original one, she began losing altitude fast is an RP of she began falling at an alarming speed. Next, the wing was not cooperating with a paraglider as it should. This is also RP. Original one is paraglider was not catching the wing in the way that it needed to. Next, RP, she yanked on her lines as she did before. Original one is she quickly pulled her lines. Next, she was juggled by the wing. So, original one is being thrown in all directions. And despite her attempt to seize control, the original sentence is she struggled to control the wing. So it's a beautiful RP here. The next one, a succession of quick turns. This is the RP4. She made a series of rapid turns. Were to no avail. This is the RP4, which had no effect. Another RP, the ground closed in on her and the rice field began to enlarge. Original sentences. The ground was moving fast towards her. The rice field was getting closer. Followed by, there was no time for her to reduce speed by flapping her wing. So, this is the RP for flapping the wing was one way of slowing down to land, but it was too late now for that. Next, an adequately wide stream caught her eye. This is the RP for she noticed a stream just wide enough for her to land in. Okay. Of course, for her to land in, the RP will be down there as she was about to land. So altogether, we can see paraphrasing throughout the summary. Paraphrasing throughout the summary, and that we will award P5, band 5. The expression is secure, which means the paraphrasing is successful. I hope everyone agrees with me. So now let's look at the accuracy part. Do we agree that this summary is accurate? The language is accurate. You do not see any red lines or omission, etc. So look at the bands. Which band has the clue word or the bullet? The language is accurate. Yes, it's band 5. So accuracy is 5. Now, take note that when the accuracy is 5, to remain in band 5, the candidate must have marked ability to use original complex sentences. Look at the band. They must have the marked ability to use original complex sentences. So let's see whether the sentence structures are in original complex. Aha. Can you see the red bordered words? Yes, all these words show that they are original complex structures here. So let's look at the first one. The wind was not cooperating with her paraglider as it should. The S here is original and it makes the structure complex. Compare with the original sentence. Look at your original text. The original sentence is, her paraglider was not catching the wind in the way that it needed to. So, this S is original. Another S here. She yanked on her lines as she did before. Let's look at the original sentence in lines 21 to 22. She had been in a similar situation before, so she quickly pulled her lines. There is no S in the text, original text, so this S is the original complex from the candidate. And next here we have but the wing was not working. We do not have but in the original prescribed text. Look at it, line 23. This time, however, the wind did not respond. The wind did not respond. Sorry for the technical error. Alright, something is wrong, but it's okay. So look at the but here. So this is original compound. Okay, original compound. And the next one we have despite. She juggled by the wind despite her attempt to seize control. Look at line 26 to line 27 of the original text. She struggled to control the wind as She was being thrown in all directions. So we do not have despite in the original text as well. And she wished to avoid the two-story farm building that she saw. Let's go to paragraph 6. Line 42 to 43. But as she was about to touch down, her wing got caught on the roof of the farm building. Sorry about that. There's a mistake. It should be in paragraph 5. Should be in paragraph 5. Sorry for that mistake. It should be lines 39 to 40. A short distance away near the edge of the field, there was a two-story building that she wanted to avoid. So that she wanted to avoid and the that she saw here is totally different. The usage is different. So this is original complex from the candidate. Okay. And here, as, but her wing caught on the farm's roof as she was about to land. That would be in paragraph 6, line 42 to 43. But as she was about to touch down, her wing got caught on the roof of the farm building. So this as is used differently from the original one. And that is why all these are original complete sentences throughout the summary and one original compound. So can we remind it at band 5? Yes, you have seen this. It's UE5. So altogether, we have C10 and L equals to 5. This is the total marks for this summary. 15 out of 15. And that's all from me. Thank you. With that, I would like to hand this session over to Madam Giovanna. Thank you to all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll take over the good Giovanna's slot first. So we continue with section D. Okay, I'm going to share with you the last section D, which is novel, and we focus on Captain Novelty. So before this, I would like to introduce myself first. I'm Jae Ting from SMK Tinggi Sarikei. This is the question for SPM 2019. Let's read the question together. In the novel that you have read, choose one character that you dislike. With close reference to the text, give reasons why you dislike him or her. So we know that in this question, it contains two parts that the candidate needs to address. First, the candidate is expected to describe one character he or she dislikes. Then the second part, the candidate has to give reasons, which is more than one reasons for disliking the character chosen. So the keywords here are very important. When you teach your students to answer this part, ask them to identify the keywords first. Next, let's look at the content and language descriptors first. We all know that the total for this section is 15. It is expressed as content, C, 10 marks, plus language, L, 5 marks. So that's why we must read the script carefully before deciding which band it best fits. And of course, we know that no response will fit perfectly into any band, so we must judge which level best fits the descriptors described in the bands. So before we look into each band, I would like you to keep in mind that for these questions, when candidates mentions the character, they must provide you with reasons. So when you have reasons, they need to show you textual evidence to support the reason. And how the textual evidence support the reason. So this is what we call development of reasons. So when we are talking about development, we are expecting the candidate to use own words to explain further about their reasons by giving own opinion based on the reasons they give. So therefore, you would see the sentences that start with, I think, in my opinion, in my own perspectives, anything that come up from the candidates themselves to show that they can really tie up to the reasons. I'll show you the examples later. Now let's look at the descriptors for content. All right, for the band 9 to 10, it means that the response must be consistently relevant, which means all the points given are constantly relevant throughout and convincing. The candidate is able to provide textual evidence, which is very detailed, and you could basically no question to ask after reading the answers. The reasons given are well developed. And then for band 7 to 8, response is relevant. Candidate is also able to provide good textual evidence with some development. Okay, so if compared to the first band, okay, it is not so detailed. For band 5 and 6, response has some relevance or is only intermittently relevant to the task. Some textual evidence with little development of reason. Band 3 and 4, response of little relevance to the task specified. Okay, little textual evidence, hardly noticeable, as well as a very little or even no development of reasons. And then for band 1 and 2, response has very little relevance to the task. Maybe just mere mentioning the name of the character, and just give 1 or 2 reasons. All right. So you can pay attention to the words that I highlighted in colors. Okay, consistency, relevant, some relevance, little relevance, very little relevance, detailed, textual evidence, good textual, and then some TE, little TE or no TE. And then the development, well developed, some development of reason, little or no. Okay, so we will look at the sample scripts later so that you can understand better. So that's for contain. Next, we will look at language. As for language, it's much easier. Of course, we are looking at grammar, vocab, punctuation, spelling, etc. Just like summary. And normally candidates will get minimum of 3 marks already if their language is okay. So I just want to stress on band 2 here, band 2. For band 2, you will see the candidate is making errors, frequent errors, in almost every sentence. And if you see some blurring in meaning, which means there are some sentences that make you read and reread. Okay, so it will definitely go down to band 2. Okay, band 1, make no sense at all, or we can say actually totally distorted for the meaning, right? So language is actually very easy to judge. There are some special cases in which you need to pay attention. All right. If you see the response is in other language, and then we will just give them 0 mark. All right. If just 1 or 2 words, we just make it as the serious errors. We just underline it. Okay. And if you see the response, which is not related to any of the novels, so this one definitely will give 0. If it is not relevant to the task, and in this case, if they mention the character they dislike, but the reasons given sounds very positive. For example, I dislike Newton because he is brave, something like this. So the candidate will get 0 marks. If the candidate only mentions about the mere mention the character only, for example, the novel that I have read is Captain Nobody. The character that I dislike is Newton. If the candidate just wrote this sentence, okay, they will get 0 marks as well. So this is the special cases that you need to focus on. So now let's look at the sample script number 1. This is the first paragraph. Let's read it together. The novel that I have read is Captain Nobody, written by Dean Pitchford. The novel tells the story about a shy, overlooked 10-year-old boy named Newton Newman, who finds himself by becoming a superhero under the alter ego Captain Nobody. One character from this novel that I dislike is Ricky Wagner. the cousin of Reggie Ratner. So here we can actually identify the character. Okay, so the character that this candidate dislikes is Ricky Ratner. All right, so let's move on to find the reason. So this is the second paragraph. The reason I dislike Reggie Ratner is because he is a mean-spirited individual. One could say he defines a typical school bully. So it's very clear already. So this is reason number one. Okay. So we look for the textual evidence. An example to prove this is when he confronts Newton Newman during recess time at Fillmore High School. So this is textual evidence. Newton was just casually conversing with his two friends, Cecile and JJ, when Ricky Ratner came to him out of nowhere. So this is textual evidence. He proceeded to threaten Newton because his cousin, Reggie Ratner, was seen as a culprit for putting Chris Newman into a coma. So this is textual evidence. People have been harassing Reggie Ratner ever since the big tackle. This is textual evidence. Ricky threatens Newton to stop the people from doing so, or else he will inflict physical damage to Newton. So this is textual evidence. Fortunately, Cecile and JJ stood in front of Newton as a way to protect him. Textual evidence. When Mr. Toomey, spelling, the school principal saw what was happening, everyone quickly disbanded. So this is textual evidence. In my opinion, what Ricky Ratner tried to do was absolutely malevolent and unnecessary. So here, this is what we call development. To beat up pupils of younger age than you is the epitome of bullying development. In my opinion, Ricky Ratner should have confronted Newton in a more peaceful and calm way and should not have resorted to violence to solve a problem, as that would just add more fuel to the fire. So this is development. So from this paragraph, you can see that the textual evidence is actually very, very detailed. So as the development, which is quite well written, so candidates is able to provide precise textual evidence to support the reasons. Okay, a very good discussion. So let's say if the candidate just stop at the word disbanded here, if they just stop here without any development, I think you will feel that something is missing, right? And you would probably start asking, okay, so what? Why are you telling me this? Okay, so you are asking yourself a lot of questions. So that's why we need candidates to explain further to bring us back to the reason, okay, to the questions, and that's how development comes in. All right. So this is very good, right? So let's move on. If you look at the band here, by looking at the first paragraph, we can see that it should be band 9 to 10 already. But remember, it must be consistently relevant. So that's why we have to move on to look at paragraph 2. Okay, let's read together. Amidst that, I also dislike Ricky Ratner because he has no regard for human decency. All right, so this is R2. Okay, as an example, the incident where Ricky Runner confronts Newton and his friends with Ferocious the ferret. Newton was tasked with keeping Ferocious, the school's mascot, for a day, coincidentally on the day when he wanted to visit his brother, Chris Newman, in the hospital. As Newt and his friends were going home, they are confronted by Ricky Ratner and his friends once again. He once again threatened Newt because the harassment on his cousin did not stop. He then tried to toy around with the catch containing the ferret that Newt was carrying, which ultimately resulted in the catch falling off and the ferret running. Ricky Radner and his friends only laughed at the ordeal. Newton had to risk his own life when he had to cross the dangerous highway where Ferocious the ferret was on. So here, the whole sections here, we can consider it as textual evidence. Now let's look at the development. In my opinion, what Ricky Radner did once again was very cruel. He unknowingly made a 10-year-old boy risk his own life by having to dodge fast-moving, incoming cars on the highway. He has no remorse for what he has done and just laughs it off. To me, that is a clear evidence of one being a psychopath. As a student who is nearing the end of my school years, I would never put any young people in a situation where they need to risk their lives. Instead, I would eagerly help those who are trapped that set of circumstances. So here, it's very clear, it's development. All right. So do you think it is good enough to get 9 or 10? So we can say that it's very good, very detailed textual evidence, okay? And the reasoning and the responses are so convincing, all right? So let's look at the last paragraph. To conclude, Ricky Runner seems to be the actual villain in this novel. I will try my best to always have a kind heart by being nice and helping those who are in. This is so I would not stray away from the path of virtue. Okay, so overall, this candidate has a good language. So we are not focusing on language today. So we focus on content only. So that's why when you look at the content, the response is consistently relevant throughout and excellent reasoning. And then arguments were detailed and well developed. So this response is also showing a very good organization of thoughts and ideas. So that's why, okay, it is 10, C10, a very good example of answers. All right. So back to this consistently relevant, convincing, detailed, and well developed of reason. All right. Now let's look at sample script 2. So I give you 1 minute to read through the first and second paragraphs. All right, finish reading. So let's look at the character. So the character that I dislike from this novel is Newton's mother. So this character is identified. Now let's look at the reasons. The first reason given is because she is an irresponsible person. Next, we look at the textual evidence. Okay, this is portrayed when she makes up breakfast by pouring milk over a bowl of turkey strips. So this is textual. This causes Newton to resort to preparing breakfast for the whole family. Textual evidence. Preparing breakfast also became Newton's daily routine because Newton's mother was too busy and might make up breakfast again. So this is textual evidence. In my opinion, so this is development. Newton's mother is not taking her responsibility as a mother to care for her family. She should be more responsible and prepare breakfast correctly for Newton and the rest of the family so that they have a good meal to start the day. So from here, you can see that it compared to the previous script, this paragraph is not so detailed when it comes to textual evidence and also development. We can see some development here, but not as good as the previous one, right? So next one, the third paragraph. Next, Newton's mother is not caring towards Newton. So this is R2. This can be seen when she did not pay attention to Newton, who told her to eat breakfast. Okay, textual evidence. As Newton finished preparing breakfast for the whole family, he went to tell his family members to eat breakfast. Textual evidence. Newton's mother was too busy on a phone call and left Newton's breakfast cold. Textual evidence. In my opinion, Newton's mother is not giving enough attention and care towards Newton. Okay, development. A mother should always be there for their children. Development. So what can you say about this paragraph? Not so detailed, right? Only have some textual evidence and some development, right? Next paragraph. Furthermore, I also dislike Newton's mother because she does not keep Newton safe. All right, so this is reason number 3. This is clearly shown when Newton is left to climb the Epperton Tower to rescue Reggie Ratner. Okay, textual. Newton, who was not surprised by his mother, climbed the water tower to tell Reggie that he was not at fault. Okay. Other than that, Newton was also left unsurprised and unsupervised and chased ferocious the parade on a busy highway. That's true. In my opinion, these two dangerous situations could have ended in Newton getting injured. So this is development. Right? So what can you say about this? Some textual evidence, but just little development, right? Actually, you can still ask a lot of questions. For example, what are the things that Newton actually wants to tell Reggie? When Reggie, when Newton was busy chasing the ferocious with the murder, you can actually ask a lot of questions for this paragraph. Not so detailed, and there's only one development, which I think is not so not enough. Okay, and then the last paragraph is basically summarize everything. So we went back, we go back to the mark scheme. So which band do you think this candidate deserve? By judging the quantity of textual evidence, how detailed is it? And you look at the quantity of the development. Does it sound? Is it very detailed? Okay. So basically is just an average kind of answer. Okay. The response is relevant, and this candidate only provides some textual evidence which is not so detailed and lack development. So that's why we give this person band 6. Okay, band 6 here. Some textual with little development of reason. All right, clear? All right, next, sample script 3. Now you read, and then you are going to tell me what band is it. Okay, so this is the first page. Second, okay, I assume that you finished with done with the reading. So let's discuss about the marks. Okay, if you look at the sample scripts here, if you look at the textual evidence, it's quite simple, right? Not so detailed. All right. It's actually very short. The task is relevant, but just that it is with little textual evidence. Okay. So that's why we award this script 4 marks only. Okay. So let's look at sample script number 4. Just the 2 sentences here. The novel that I study is Captain Nobody, written by Dean Pageford. The character that I dislike, Ricky Radner, because he was bullied Newton Newman. So here, we can identify the character, which is Ricky Radner, and there's only one reason: he was bullied Newton Newman. Okay, so there's no textual evidence, no development, just end it like that. So how many marks you will give? So go back to the pen, it's only worth 1 mark. Okay, just mere mentioning the name of the character and give one reason. So that's why it's only 1 mark for this. All right. So I think that's all from me. So I pass it back to Teku Giovanna for the poem. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I apologize for the earlier on, this accidental exit that was completely unintentional. I was just about to start, and then my Wi-Fi died. Anyway, good afternoon. Thank you all for still being with us. I know it's already 4, so I promise it will be very quick. Okay, I will now switch on to my slides. Okay. I think I need to switch off my video because sorry. Okay, so very brief introduction. I am Madam Giovanna and I'm teaching in SMK St. Anthony Sarikei, and I will be in charge of section D poem. So the layout of my presentation this afternoon, 3 things. I will be focusing on 3 sections, which is the answer scheme, the frequently asked question on section D poem, and I'm going to show some examples of students' answer. Okay, so poem section altogether 5 marks, which means we expect short, straightforward answers. And the last question is usually an opinion-based question. So as long as they do not contradict themselves, most answers are usually acceptable, especially the yes or no question. So usually we advise when it is a yes or no question, usually we advise students to answer yes or no first and then provide reason. So that completes a student's answer. So now I'm going to go to the answer scheme. Okay, I'm sure that you all have a copy of the question paper with you. So if you can't see the question that is on my slide, please refer to your own copy. So the first question, question A, the word there is mentioned twice in this poem. What do you think there refers to? Now the answer for this question is in the photograph. So as you can see, in is optional. So a student can answer the photograph, photo, the living photograph, photo of persona's grandmother's photo, and even persona's photo. Okay, but we do not allow the grandmother in the photo. And we also do not allow photo of grandmother. Okay. B, in the poem, why did the grandmother become smaller in size? Okay, so there are a few suggested answers here that we accept. The first one is her back became hunched because she aged, because she got ill, sick, or older, because she was dying, her back became round and hunched, her back became because of age. This is the student's answer, but we accept this. We do not allow she's smaller because she is in the photograph. She shrank. She died or dead. Her background. Okay, I have to explain this. Why we do not accept her background? Because the intention of this question is to ask why the grandmother, what caused her to become smaller in size. So when a student answer her background, so it does not show that she aged, or because of old age she became hunched. So there's an indication there that she already has a round back. So which is why this answer is not allowed. We also do not allow her back round and hunched. Okay, and her soup forgot to boil. Next, C. The persona views death with great fear. Give one line that shows this. Now, the suggested answer here is, she went to the awful place grandmother's go. And then another line that we accept is somewhere unknown, unthinkable. We also accept if student simply provide line, which is line 12 or line 13. And this is the more specific one, stanza 2, line 5, line 6. We do not allow the awful place because it's too vague, and it does not, it seems like it can be any place. It does not look like it's quoted from the poem. We also do not allow persona went to the awful place grandmother's go, because this option shows that the persona herself went to the awful place. So that is why this answer is not allowed. Okay, so we have come to the last question, D. Imagine the persona is your friend. What would you do to help your friend in this situation, and why would you do this? So there are two things that the student have to answer, okay, which is what action or what decision the student will do to help, in order to help a friend who is in the situation of grieving, or who lost a loved one. And then after that, the student have to provide a reason. Now, what I would do to help, suggested answer: cheer him or her up, give advice, show support. Reason to support this: because I want my friend to know he or she is not alone, and that he or she can get through this. To help him or her accept a loved one's death, we must accept God's plan. So these are just an example of answers that we can accept. Okay. However, we do not allow answers that contradict each other. Okay. For example, if a student provides an answer and and the reason that a student provide do not support the decision or the action that is suggested, then usually we will not allow the answer. Okay, I will further explain in my examples through students' actual answer. Now we move on to frequently asked question. The first question that students normally ask teachers: can students take words or lines from the text to support their answers? Yes, they can. However, they need to put inverted commas. Okay. Now, inverted commas, we always encourage students to practice using the inverted commas every time they have to quote a line from a poem. There are some cases too where we accept. So my recommendation is that we keep telling students to use the inverted commas. which is why I put it up here that they have to put the inverted commas. The next question, how many sentences the least that students should provide to get the desired marks? Now, this depends on how many marks per question. For example, if it's a 1-mark question, which means 1 sentence, which is why I mentioned earlier in my presentation, we expect students to answer in the simplest way possible. They don't have to use a full sentence. Be as straightforward as possible. And if it is a 2-mark question, then usually we expect 2 sentences. 1 answer in 1 sentence, and the other will be the evidence or an elaboration or a reason to support the answer. However, there are good students who know how to combine these 2 key points into 1 sentence. Of course, we allow as well. For a 2-mark question, a good student can always combine 2 answers to form 1 sentence, provided answer and evidence or reason is clearly mentioned. This is an example of what I explained earlier on. The first one, why do you think Lulu left home? Suggests what might have happened. So this is from the poem What Has Happened to Lulu. Now this is a 2-mark question, and this student has provided 2 sentences to mean 2 separate points. So her answer is, I think Lulu left home to pursue her dream. So that's the answer. And the next sentence should be an elaboration or an evidence. Okay, or the second half of the question. I think the night she left home, she used the money that she has saved up to buy herself a 1-way ticket to Hollywood. Sorry for the spelling error. To pursue her dream in becoming an actress. Now, the second example here is when a student combines 2 points in 1 sentence. This is an example taken from the poem A Poison Tree. If you are the persona, would you have been glad to see your foe outstretched beneath the tree? Explain. Now, the student can answer it with 2 separate sentences, or they can just answer it in 1. No, I would not be happy because. Then they will have to use the conjunction because. I do not take pleasure in the pain of others. So as a teacher, we have to be able to understand if the student did really have answered the second part of the question. Sometimes it's not a new point. Sometimes it's just a one answer or a 1 point stretched into a long sentence. And the last question, question 3, what happens when students provide the points in incorrect grammar, but the answers make sense? Now, actually it depends on the teacher as well. Marks for points are always awarded as long as the meaning is there. Okay, now, how do we know that we do not make up the meaning, or if we can be so sure that there is meaning underneath the layers of grammatical error? Now, what I would usually do is that I would get a second opinion if you can, but if you cannot, then try to read the words or the phrases that the student provide. There's an example later on I will show you. If it's really fractured, grammatically fractured, that makes no sense whatsoever, then yes, there can't be the slightest meaning there. But if there's, let's say, a string of 2 or 3 words, they make sense, and then after that, incorrect use of tense or incorrect use of verb. After that, there's another string of phrases that make sense. Then yes, we can assume that there's meaning there. So then the teacher can award mark. Okay, I have 12 samples of students' answer, but I'm going to just pick 2 or 4. Okay, now let's look at the first one. P1, the orthograph. It's a spelling error. However, we award 1 mark. Okay, simply because even though it's wrongly spelled, we understand that it means photograph. Okay, because persona, grandmother, hunchback, 1. Death in the eye, 0. And question D1, sharing him, 1. Because sharing the persona can release his stress, 1. Okay. Let's look at, I'm going to go back to P4. I'm going to skip to P4. Let's look at question A. The answer here is the persona's memory. That one is 0 because sometimes students can rephrase photograph. They just use their own word to rephrase photograph, and then they will use the word memory. So we cannot accept that, and we put that as 0. And here I would like to highlight D1. There's no answer here. So therefore, we cannot accept D2 as well, even though the student might have combined D1 and D2 together, but the student answered in the D2 section. We still have to award 0. Okay, simply because there's no attempt there. Okay, another thing that I would like to remind teachers as well as students, whenever a student provide a line, always be sure which line is that. I myself always look back at the poem to make sure that the line matches the answer that is correct. So line 11, okay, is 0 because the line 11 does not mean the answer that we need. Okay. So I'm going to go to the last one. And now look at P12. This is the last sample. Okay. The photograph grandmother. Okay. This is already tells us that the student do not have a strong command in the language. So we award 0. B. Grandmother became smaller in size because grandmother all back round and hunched and straight back. It doesn't make any sense because it's contradicting. So 0. Loss on Anglaise, 0. D1. Help your friend in this situation, and grandmother would the photograph. Grandmother is smile. Doesn't make any sense, 0. And same goes to D2. Grandmother is small, is still living, breathing. Jackie K remembers his grandmother is smile. Again, it doesn't make any sense, even though some phrases when they do make sense, but it does not answer the question. So therefore, 0. And on that final note, that concludes my presentation. I sincerely appreciate that I've had this opportunity to present to you all. Teachers, I respect you all, and I thank you for your interest and attention. So I'm going to pass this to Madam Lee.
Hello. Yes. Good afternoon once more to everybody. So this practically actually concludes the whole thing. So hopefully you guys can actually get all the information provided. We have to admit that time is insufficient. Time has always been jealous of us. I do apologize for delaying it by 30 minutes. I believe this is super suffering for all those people who are actually fasting. So huge apology for that. Let's don't waste any more time. I do have Cikgu Zainal actually requested me, if you actually look at the username that actually provided this YouTube live, Cikgu Zainal, he asked for your kindness to actually subscribe to him if you can, and then you will be constantly updated if PPD Sarikei actually has new videos uploaded related to PDPC and learning and in the classroom. After all, we have been really active with online classroom during this MCO period. So do subscribe with him so you get to know the latest update. Now, the screen that you guys are seeing right now is the download link. So go to gg.gg Sarikei SPM 2019. It is exactly the link that we had when you guys were downloading the test paper earlier on. So I just uploaded all the slides into that Google Drive. So feel free to download them and to refer to them as the complete answer scheme by all of us. So it's exactly the same link, right? So if you go into it, you'll see all the slides available there. So take a snapshot of this, take a picture of this, because I'm going to move on to the next slide. All right, so now for registration. So this is the SPLG link. This is the SPLG link. So you can scan it. You can key in the gg.gg short form. So gg.gg SPLG PAT SPM. So you can actually type it in. It's pretty easy. So key in those attendance. And you're gonna get 3 hours. I think you guys deserve the 3 hours credit point since we exceed by 30 minutes, right? So if you subscribe to this, you're gonna get 3 credit hours for today's course. Okay, so I think it is safe for you guys to hang up. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much to all the 5 presenters. They have done a great job. You guys have been super participative in the YouTube live as well with all the chat. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see each other again after we plan out how we're going to do the paper 1. All right, so stay safe and enjoy your fasting. Enjoy your breaking your fast. All right, see you guys again. Thank you very much.